But I mean, I wish I lived in a world where we could do that, do the implantation or whatever, or the uterus stuff, because really surrogacy is expensive.
Sure,
it is an expensive endeavor, and
adoption is a very long process.
Unless
that's the route
unless you have
that too,
right? Unless you have, like in my case, so with my ex-wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had the plan was okay because she I guess I can disclose this. I mean, I really shouldn't, but at the time she wasn't on hormones. She just recently started.
Mm-hmm.
So the plan was, okay, when I turn 30 and she turns 26, then we're going to start that journey for having children. So her sister was going to be a surrogacy. So we have that bloodline on my ex-wife's side. And then my sister was going to be a surrogacy. So we have a bloodline on my side. We're going to have a total of 3 kids. And then the third child will look into adoption and go down that avenue. That's what the game plan was.
That's fair. It's equitable.
Yeah.
Very fair. My sister was mine too, but we kind of aged out of that. Like my sister just turned like 38, and I'm like, well, I had to find somebody else.
Luckily, I have 3 sisters, but one is 27, the other is 24, and then the other is 24. So
dope. But you got time, brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not forever, but you got some time. Yeah. So I think was there any other aspect of this TS Hennessy Marie story that anybody wanted to hit before we moved on to the next topic?
So I guess I've just been out of the loop with working and everything. I had no idea any of this was going on until you sent me the video. I didn't know. Is this like a big? I mean, obviously a big thing in the community going around, but just in the public side.
No, nah. There were. I mean, I haven't seen any stories written about it on news websites, even gossip blogs. It's been all YouTube content creators responding to this. I think it was like a lot of it got exposed through Instagram.
Sure.
TikTok.
Oh, I'm sorry, TikTok. There we go. My bad.
Yeah.
TikTok. But hey, look. Obviously, she looks great, and there's no way for anybody to know, which kind of leads us into our next topic. Because we were hanging out before the show. The subject of passability came up, and passability, privilege, and all that kind of stuff. And Stormy had some questions. Like, really, there were things that she wanted to know, like in terms of what do you guys think in relation to this. So, Stormy, I'm gonna let you just pose your questions, and the guys will just respond.
Okay, so I guess as I had mentioned before, with the network that I deal with, SIN Network, which is Sisters International National Network, a topic came up about like passing privilege, and is that a deal breaker? Is that something that plays a role in why men may be on the DL and or their attraction? So for example, if a woman is more passable, you may be more public with her, bring her around your family. What does the term passing privilege mean in a guy's perspective?
So, Trail, take it away, man. I'll let you lead off on this one.
All right. Me, I'm not gonna lie when it comes to the guys. Like, there's a lot of guys I know personally, and majority of them, they only like talk to girls that's quote unquote passable, a certain type of look and stuff like that, and I normally see them be with them more, but me personally, it's got to be about how much does she embody her womanhood. I mean, I'm not really so stuff like that. I'm not. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say I talk to anything, but I do get where they're coming from. This community, you got some that are open, you got some that's not open, you got some that's not even, that's just DL. You know, and like I said, I know all of them. You know, I know all types. You know, I don't really have who I hang with. You know, the ones that's open, that's who I normally be with. I kind of understand where they come from when they do it, because they, how you say, they don't want to explain themselves. They don't want to have to explain themselves, explain the family. You know, some people just don't have tough skin. They don't have a tough mental for this, or anything like that. And you know, like I said, came in this, I'm like, yo, you really have to have thick skin and a tough mental, you know, to come up in this. Because, like, I mean, not to really curse, so I didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck at all. I didn't care, because me on my deathbed, or I'm in that casket, I want the people that really rock with me there. That's it. That you know, really didn't rock with me around, because that's fake to me. So, but to answer your question, I understand from both parts. I ain't saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, but I do understand from both parts. I'm not gonna lie. Go with the most passable looking girls, because it's less to explain. It's not really to be even seen out in public, because, you know, I live here in New York, which is it's more, how you say, you know, diverse. So you don't get somebody's gonna be looking all hard and talking shit. They probably talk junk in their head or to themselves. You know what I mean? I ain't for everybody. The situation ain't for everybody. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, just don't have it. You know, have it in them. You know, I mean, some dudes. I'm not gonna say people. Some dudes, they don't have it and really stand on this. You understand? But like if you get in a relationship with a girl, stand on it. I don't care if you get in a serious relationship with a girl, you have to stand on it. You have to show it that. That's plain and simple. You know what I mean? Because that's what I did. You know, I only had one relationship, one real relationship of being open. You know, I only had one real relationship. You know, and I told her from the jump, I'm not letting you, even, you know, I'm new to this relationship wise, but dating, I'm not. But being in a relationship, I was open. I was new, so I had to let her know, like, yo, I'm about, and I was willing, and I did. You know, and it lasted for 5 years. Some great, gonna lie, but you know, everything, all good things always come to an end. But yeah.
Okay.
So this is probably going to get me canceled, but
Here we go.
In my experience, right? So I learned of my attraction to trans women back as early as 2011, 2012. So I was 18, 19 years old. So at that point, I discovered. I'm sorry.
I said you're pretty young. Not to cut you off, but you're pretty young.
No, yeah. So
I was in this since 2000.
Okay. Yeah. So looking back on it now, I was the definition of a chaser, and I'm gonna straight up and say it. That's what I was. But I've learned how to look at myself and realize what I was doing wrong, and how to grow from that and be a better lover and a better person. Right. So in the beginning, I discovered the Holy Grail, right? Bailey J. I discovered Bailey J. And I was just Bailey J, Aubrey Kate, you know, those women, and I was just obsessed. And at that point, it was, okay, so here's my attraction. This is what these feelings. Also, what's her name from The Hangover 2? That's the first time I've ever seen a trans woman.
Yasmin something.
Yeah, something.
Want to say Lee? No.
Yep. So,
you talk about porn stars? talking about
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Great.
know.
Yeah, I know. Terrible.
No, it's not
But I
terrible.
realized this attraction.
I just don't know.
Yeah, Trell doesn't watch trans porn. He doesn't know the names.
Oh, okay. So I discovered I had my attraction, and it was one of those things where I was like being 12 years old again. I didn't care what she looked like, who she was. I just wanted it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I put it all up on me. And so I was.
Walk
I mean,
of shame.
I played safe, of course, because you had to. But I was meeting women off of transgender.com, OkCupid, and there was one other website. I forget. And it was telling them what they wanted to hear and just being able to sleep with them. And I realized that's wrong. That is terribly wrong. And that makes me a disgusting person. But it was one of those things where it's like you try candy for the first time or sugar and you absolutely need it. Right. And in that experience, there was things where these women weren't passable. I mean, they were either very early on in the transition or they've had experience and they were non-passable, let's just say. But I realized because they would say, okay, let's date or I want, meet my family or I want to meet your family. I realized in myself that one thing I had to overcome was internalized transphobia within myself to be able to say, okay, here's my attraction, be proud of who I am, accept who I am, and actually take that leap and fall for someone and love someone. I met my wife around a little later after that time, and we were together. And being with her at first in the beginning, so I think Chris, he's seen a photo of my ex-wife. You can tell she's trans, but you also can't at the same time. She can play either or, right? And it was one of those things where in the beginning I had to learn how to be okay with myself. In order to love her correctly, I had to learn how to be okay with myself. Being out in public, I mean, we got people staring at us and, backlash from my family. And I was constantly looking over my shoulder. And then something just clicked where all of that just went away, right? And I didn't realize it anymore. I didn't realize it. I didn't feel it. I didn't hear that. I didn't see the stares. I didn't feel the people talking behind my back. It all just kind of stopped. And now, I would say it's the same thing where I'm okay to be out in public, and I can just. If you and I are in a room and we're having a conversation, that's it. That's all that's in front of me. If you're passable or not, I mean, that doesn't bother me at all. Also, too, where I am in Texas, there is a trans group here, a local trans group, which I was a part of and I went to for a long time. And that was also a learning experience for myself, being able to see what it was like on that side of the fence, so to speak. But going to your question with what do I find passable versus non-passable? Do I find the whole completely doll plastic surgery, high performance makeup, pretty much where they walk into a room and these women glow? No, I mean, yeah, that's nice to look at porn. It's great. It adds that spice, but that's not attractive to me in the real world. When I meet someone, I want the natural beauty. I want who you are, not what's behind not what the makeup is presenting. So that's what I find attractive. I mean, with myself, and it's just like if I was speaking with cisgender women, I may find this trans woman or a cisgender woman attractive. Chris, you may not, or Colin, you may not find this person attractive. I mean, it's all about your own. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, it's about
your perception of beauty.
Perception. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for. And I'm the youngest guy here, I feel like. So I still have a lot to learn, one about
How
myself.
old
And also,
are you?
I just turned 30.
He's saying that like he just turned 50 too. He's like, fuck, I just turned.
Happy
No,
belated birthday, whenever your birthday was.
Hey, own that one, bro. I would love to be 30 again. I'll roll that clock
Oh
back.
my god, so would I. Holy
I'm
shit.
in the back half of my 30s right now, bro. So I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I feel you though. I was there.
Yeah. So it's still, it's still a learning curve. I'm finally in a spot to where I can present myself and be able to stand my ground. And if people make fun of me about it, I've learned to, and I guess this is the mature side of me or just the acceptance of myself that I have, to where at times it would be like, shut the fuck. Can we curse on this?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm not attracted to these trans women. But now it's like, yeah, so what? Or if somebody's like, oh, Dom's not Dom won't be attracted to her unless she's got a penis. And it's just, okay. Laugh it off and you move on. Before, I used to get very defensive and, shut up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And and just internalized transphobia and denial. And I think that's what a lot of, believe it or not, and fight me on it, but I think that's what a lot of men feel and have, because they haven't really, their whole life they're told that this is wrong and it's not okay to be attracted to this. But what I like right now, and I don't know if I'm making sense or not, but what I like right now, especially in the social medias, and we're seeing more and more, we're seeing more men being openly attracted to trans women, and
I see that too.
Yeah. So, it's always going to be a constant battle for men, trans women and cis men. From the dawn of time, it's always been that way, right? But it's just all about first accepting yourself, and then from there you're able to see what truly attracts you. Body, spirit, mind, all of that stuff. You start there, and then you look on the outside and see what you like, what you don't like. You may like blondes, you may like brunettes, or redheads. It doesn't matter. I met this girl recently on Instagram. She's attractive, but at the same time, you can tell she's trans, right? Just mainly in specific features. Which is fine. But I find you attractive, and we hung out. What's today? 23rd. So we hung out on Tuesday, which was amazingly perfect. She surprised me, came up from Austin, and spent the whole day together. And it was just, I was comfortable. It felt like I've been talking to you for months, or we've been together for, a year. So, yeah. But for me, honestly, attraction, brown eyes, brown hair, great smile. You have those three things, we can talk about marriage tomorrow. So just make sure you have those.
That's what's up, man.
The one thing, Dom, that I actually wanted to point out was, okay, yeah, so you're the youngest person, but you've got a really intelligent and really insightful view for a young man.
Thank you.
For a person, actually, regardless of your age. Thank you for sharing that. That was quite refreshing to hear from somebody who is still in the same generation as us, but on the younger end of it.
Okay.
The younger millennials.
Yeah.
The young ones. We're the old ones.
It comes with anything, right? You have to make mistakes to be able to learn from it, and to know what to do and not what to do. One thing early on, so Chris knows that I'm into films, and I write films and have my own podcast show and stuff like that. So a way for me in the beginning to tell the world of my attraction was put it in the form of my art. I started writing more television pilots or films that had a trans character at the forefront, and using that as more of kind of introducing this to the people around me and my family. Like, hey, I wrote this. Here's my research of it. Because in the beginning, who I learned a lot from, surprisingly, I believe her name was Jazz Jennings. I saw that 2020 video with Barbara Walters, or that interview.
That young girl.
And yeah, that helped me learn a lot about trans and what it means. I saw a child going through this, and it opened my eyes to it, right? And then from there, you start hitting Google and you start doing research. You learn things about, at the time, there was this, I think it was down in Houston, this girl was running for homecoming queen, and she was trans, and she won, and the first person at her high school to do it. And you start to learn, and I apologize about using this word. I know for some people it's terrible, and it could be a trigger warning, and I apologize. But in the beginning, I was a dog, and I've come a long way to where I can be able to say, hey, these were my mistakes. I own it, but I moved on from it. Meet someone, oh, you're a she-male. Hey, what's going on? You're hot. A lot of my messages in the beginning was that way. And I either got a lot of hate from it. From there, I learned the correct terminology. Trans, there's certain questions you ask. There's certain questions you don't ask, right? And it was just, I didn't have anybody like this group growing up until last year? Yeah. Maybe 6 months ago, 7 months ago, whatever, when I met this group. So I didn't have an outlet. So a lot of this experience was just me learning on my own, falling and picking myself up and going, okay, I did that wrong. Now we can do this right. And, Chris, having this is amazing. And I think this should be more in the public eye, and especially on, like, if this show or something like this was on MTV, I think that'd be great, and we would see more people coming out. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, it would
Let's make it happen.
A headache.
Right, let's do it.
Because what would happen.
I honestly think that this just should not be a podcast show or a YouTube series or however your vision for this. I think start touring, start doing live shows, start holding conventions. I know all that stuff costs money, but
I will guest speak in Canada if you ever come up this way, buddy.
Oh yeah. All of these things need to hit up your local radio station. Hey, this is what's going on. This is what's happening in the community. This is television. Get on the news. Talk about this stuff, man.
We've been on Fox Soul. Shout out to Fox Soul.
No way.
Yeah. When the Dave Chappelle thing hit, we got on there. I'm not gonna lie. At the time, I was an employee of Fox anyway, so it wasn't hard to do it. But but abuse my connections.
I don't know. To bring it back, that's just where I see my attraction. My attraction first is look at myself. What do I find attractive about myself? What qualities about myself do I find attractive versus not being attractive? Right there, it's what do I find in a woman that attracts me? Body, spirit, mind, of course. Right.
Yep.
And then also you have the personalities and, little things, quirky things. And then from there, someone being trans that you're attracted to, great. That's not the end all be all, but that's just check the box. That's, one thing that I love, one thing that I like. What else does she got? Because if you just focus on that one little thing, you're not going to have success.
Nah.
Men's community, number one. Number two, you'll just be cast out as just the chaser or the guy that just wants a quick fix and move on about his life. But I don't know.
That's what he's looking for. And in regards to this passable, not passable, what are your dating proclivities related to that? I think one of the biggest mistakes guys make in this space is they date the body, not the person. And I'm not talking about her privates. I'm talking about, oh, dang, look, she got the BBL. She got MFS. She got big old titties. She got this. She got that done. Like, they're looking for the porn star as like they see the porn and then they go for that and that only, not realizing that trans bodies are diverse and they don't all just look like that. So, they come in thinking, well, I'm only going to do it if I get with a girl like that. And that's like, I'm going to just be real. A lot of the girls, there are a good amount of the girls who look like that, who are visible. Frankly, them girls ain't trying to get married. They're living their lives. They're doing their OnlyFans thing. They making a quote coin. They just ain't built for it. That ain't their thing. Now, I just think it's like, hey, what are you doing to get the outcomes that you want? You want that real love. You want that marriage shit. You kind of you can't go after, swimsuit models only. Like, that's some incel shit, really. But I'm sorry, Colin. I wanted to give you a moment to jump in on this because I know we kind of just was all over the place. So what are your thoughts on this, like, related to, like, for you, does a girl being passable or not passable matter in terms of who you choose to date?
No, it doesn't at all. I mean, like, but again, so I come from this in a very different aspect. Sorry, just give me 1 second. I gotta throw my cat across my fucking apartment. But yeah, like, so I come at this a little bit differently from the being part of the community because I'm queer, right? Which, Chris, you and I have talked about in the past, and I have said before on your past podcasts. So for me, I mean, like, I don't really have a preference. I don't care if you're a cis guy, cis man, cis woman, trans man, trans woman. So I don't really care about passability at all. I care about the person that I'm with. And like you said, it's don't date the body. It's what's up here and what's in here. Mm-hmm. And to me, these two things are way more important than what's here. I don't give a shit what social standards are in regards to passable, good looking. Don't care. Don't give a fuck whatsoever. And I can't emphasize that enough. What I look for is context and that the beauty of the inner. And that's the most important thing. Because, like, and I'll say this to every particularly in this community, because like you said on that one, Chris, like, you want to date the porn star? You're like,
I mean, I don't want anybody walking away saying that, we don't believe that porn stars aren't worthy of love.
Yeah, and I do.
Your chances of getting that old school traditional monogamous relationship that you wanted, your parents had.
And again, I do apologize.
You don't want to put all your eggs in that one basket.
Yeah, exactly. And I shouldn't have stated it that way. And I do apologize to anybody who is listening to this.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
But coming back to passability, to me, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to care if somebody that I'm with is passable based off of social standards. As long as, and again, like with me, and I've said this before in the past, I have kids. So what am I going to go for? Like what's going to be my actual, what's going to be the things that I look for? I'm not going to look for or care about passability. I'm going to care about whether or not they want to be a part of my family. Mm-hmm. Like, are you going to want to do the hard things, like come for a dropping the kids off to, like my ex-wife, for example? Are you going to want to spend time with them? Are you going to want to spend time as a family? Are you going to want to have the time that you and I have together when they're not here? focusing on us and building us up so that we can be better for them. So again, like my situation is different in that aspect, but passability could not mean, like, it doesn't matter to me.